You strike it without thinking, one flick of the wrist, a drag across a paper strip, and fire appears in your hand. You've done this hundreds of times, maybe more, and every single time, you moved on. Didn't pause, didn't question it, but that tiny wooden stick has been hiding something. It rotted workers' faces from the inside out. It handed one man control over the financial systems of entire nations. And it sparked a labor revolt that rewrote the rules of organized protest in the industrial world. This is not a story about fire. It's a story about control, about who gets to hold the flame, and what they're willing to do to keep it. You probably assume the match is obsolete, ancient, obvious, replaced. Your stove has an igniter. Your phone has a flashlight. Lighters exist. You don't need a match. But here's what you're skipping past. Before the match, before that strip of red phosphorus and potassium chlorate, portable fire didn't exist. You needed flint, steel, and dry tinder. Minutes of effort, uncertainty, and in a world where fire meant warmth, cooked food, and survival in the dark, uncertainty was expensive. The match removed that uncertainty in a single scratch, and then the world fought over it, legislated it, defrauded governments with it, and for the workers who made it by the billion, it quietly destroyed them. This is object lore, history hiding in plain sight. Today's object, the match. And by the time we're done, you won't call it ordinary again. Stockton-on-Tees, Northern England, 1826. A pharmacist named John Walker is scraping dried residue off the end of a wooden mixing rod. He drags it across the stone floor of his workshop to clean it. It catches. Walker had been working with a paste of antimony sulfide and potassium chlorate, standard experimental materials for the period. He wasn't trying to invent anything. He was cleaning up after himself. And in that accidental drag across rough stone, he discovered friction ignition, the same principle that powers every match struck anywhere on Earth today. He called them friction lights. He sold them locally, wrapped in a tin, with a folded strip of sandpaper tucked inside. He charged 1 shilling per box of 50. He never applied for a patent. Someone else noticed. Samuel Jones, a London entrepreneur, reproduced the design within the year, renamed them Lucifers, and began selling them commercially across Britain. The name circulated through parts of Europe for decades, but Walker's discovery wasn't an act of pure invention. It was the delivery that changed everything. Because humans had been chasing portable fire for centuries, ancient Roman texts referenced sulfur-tipped wooden sticks, Schwefelhölzchen, used to transfer flame from a burning source to hearths and lamps. Functional, yes, but dependent on an existing flame. You still needed fire to make fire. Walker closed that loop. A match requiring nothing except a rough surface. No ritual, no preparation, no minutes of labor, just friction, one motion, done. By the 1830s, match factories were spreading across Britain and Europe. Sweden became a dominant force. The forests around Jönköping provided the aspen and pine, and the industrial labor pool was cheap and largely unregulated. In 1844, a Swedish chemist named Gustav Erik Pasch patented the safety match. His design separated the reactive chemicals, potassium chlorate in the match head, red phosphorus on the striking surface of the box. Neither compound ignites on its own. Combined through friction, controlled fire. It was elegant chemistry. The core mechanism hasn't changed since. It was also almost entirely ignored for decades. Because white phosphorus, the older, cheaper, more dangerous compound, remained legal. Factory owners preferred it. White phosphorus ignited more reliably, more dramatically, at lower cost. The fact that it was slowly destroying the people who manufactured it was treated as a labor cost. The disease had a name: Phossy jaw, phosphorus necrosis. Breathing white phosphorus vapor over years caused a progressive infection of the jawbone. The bone tissue died. Accounts from the era describe workers in hospital wards whose affected jaws glowed faint green in the dark, visible from across the room. Treatment meant surgical removal of the jaw. Without treatment, the infection spread to the brain. This was not obscure knowledge. Factory owners knew. Government inspectors documented it. The British Parliament passed the Phosphorus Match Act, banning white phosphorus in match production in 1908. 82 years after Walker's workshop, 64 years after Pasch's safety patent. The problem was never the chemistry. The solution existed in 1844. The problem was incentive. London, Bryant and May Match Factory. Bow, East End, June 1888. Around 1,300 women and girls walked off the production floor, no formal union structure behind them, no legal framework protecting the action, just workers, many of them teenagers, refusing to go back inside. They were earning between 4 and 9 shillings a week, wages docked for minor infractions, talking on the floor, arriving seconds late, dropping equipment. The factory was posting record profits, and a significant number of the workers were already showing early symptoms of Phossy jaw. The strike lasted 3 weeks. The workers won. Bryant and May agreed to end arbitrary fines, reinstate dismissed workers, and, eventually, begin the transition away from white phosphorus. The Match Girls' strike of 1888 is now cited among the earliest successful organized labor actions in British industrial history, predating many of the union structures that followed. It influenced the formation of what would become the General Federation of Trade Unions within a decade. These were not career activists. They were working-class girls in a phosphorus-saturated factory. That distinction is worth sitting with. History tends to remember the inventors. It tends to forget the people who stood in the fumes. And then there was Ivar Kruger, the Match King, a Swedish financier who, through the 1920s, constructed a global match monopoly by lending money, vast sums, to post-war governments in exchange for exclusive national match manufacturing contracts. Poland, France, Germany, Turkey. At the peak of his reach, accounts suggest Kruger controlled roughly 2/3 of global match production. He was financing sovereign nations through the leverage of a single product. In 1932, he was found dead in his Paris apartment. The subsequent audit revealed his empire had been built on fabricated assets and forged Italian government bonds, one of the largest financial frauds of the 20th century, structured around a small stick with a colored tip. Today, global match production runs into the hundreds of billions annually. The chemistry is Pasch's 1844 safety design, largely unchanged. The wood is still typically aspen or pine, kiln-dried and impregnated with flame-retardant compounds, so the stick doesn't continue burning after the head extinguishes. Machines dip match heads at production speeds Walker couldn't have imagined. And yet, the match is still here. Lighters dominate casual use, yes, but matches remain standard in restaurant kitchens, candle retail, camping supply, and emergency preparedness kits globally. They require no fuel reservoir, no piezoelectric mechanism, no battery, no moving part that can wear or corrode. Strike one during a power outage, or deep in a forest, and you'll understand something your ancestors understood without needing to be told. Reliable, portable fire is not a lifestyle accessory, it is infrastructure, and a match delivers it in under a second. 200 years of engineering refinement, and the object fits in your shirt pocket. So the next time you strike a match, hold it for a second. You're holding the accidental invention of a pharmacist who didn't bother to patent it. You're using the same chemistry that destroyed the jaws of workers who had no legal recourse, no union, and no choice about breathing the air around them. You're touching a product that once served as the financial instrument of a fraud that destabilized international credit markets. It takes 1 second to light. It took 2 centuries of chemistry, exploitation, legislation, and criminal ingenuity to get it into your hand. That's not a trivial object. That's a very small, very loaded piece of history. If this made you look twice at something you've passed over your whole life, there is an entire world of objects waiting. Drop a comment below. What should object lore investigate next? Every answer is already hiding something. This is object lore. The history of the world is hiding in plain sight. Until next time.